I want to quit my job, but my boss owns all of my possessions. He says he'll take everything if I leave. This is kind of a long story, but I am 19 and want to leave my job and go find a new one that I can do part-time so I can finish school. My boss is okay with me leaving, but the problem is that he won't be able to support me anymore if I do, which means I will lose everything I own, and now I don't really know where to turn. I started here when I was 16. A guy I knew got a big suite in the hotel, which is one of the nicest ones in Dallas. We had a party here. We were drinking and it got out of control and people threw up in the room and caused a lot of damage around the hotel, and a whole bunch of things were stolen. The next morning I woke up to manager and security yelling at me. My friends were all gone and left me sleeping. The manager took me to his office and I was crying and begged him not to call the police, so he said I could start coming in after school and helping them clean rooms and do dishes in the kitchen to work off the money from all the damage, and he wouldn't call the police. After a few weeks, I told him I couldn't do it anymore as my parents wouldn't drive me since I wasn't bringing home any money to save, and they said he was taking advantage of me. But I just didn't want to tell them I was working to pay off the debt, and I didn't listen because I know they didn't know the full story. So he bought me a used bike to use and said he wanted me there every day until the damage was all paid, plus the bike. Over the next couple months, he got more and more demanding, and every time I asked how much more work I had to do, he always just said he'll tell me when I'm finished, and if I don't want to, he can just call the police. So I just kept working and doing what he said. He changed my hours to 4 until 12 every night, and it was affecting my schoolwork. He is a nice guy and didn't want my grades to suffer, and I always had to bring him my report cards, but he said do not drop out. But when I turned 18, I stopped going to school and just slept in the day. When he found out, he said I had to be here pretty much all day if I'm not going to be in school, which I hate because I don't really have any time for friends or my girlfriend. Then things got really rocky with the parents, and I said that I wanted to leave, and my boss's house sitting for a family that lives in India. It has been great, except a couple months per year I have to move out because they are coming home. They don't know that I live there for the rest of the time. It's not all bad because I have lived comfortably. He lets me take home food from the hotel that is left over from the very upscale restaurant. And the house I live in is really nice, and if there are books or other things in the gift shop that no one buys, sometimes he lets me take those too. Still, I have told him several times that I want to be paid, but he always says I owe him and will not tell me how much the damage was or how much I have worked off. I know the statute of limitations is 3 years, and after that he can't press charges against me. So yesterday was 3 years exactly, and I told him that I know he can't have me arrested anymore and that I want to quit. He said that's okay, but he bought my bike, all the good-looking clothes I have, and all the essentials I needed since I was 16. Now he's saying that if I don't work for him anymore, that I can't live in the house, and I have to give back all the things he bought for me to use during my job. He has got me a lot of things, but I have seriously no money. So there's no way I can leave the job. When I need something, I just ask him, and if I'm doing well at work, he will buy it for me. So I don't even know where to start to rebuild my life after this place. Are there resources for cases like this? Is there a way to make him let me keep everything until I am on my own feet? Wow. I am so overwhelmed to look again this morning and see all the responses. I can't believe how much of a bigger a deal this is than I first realized. I know from an outsider perspective how crazy this must sound, but it was just so easy to fall into this thing and hard to get away from. I called 2 law officers today and both were closed, but I did the contact form, so hopefully they will call me back. I also tried the police, but they said it sounds like a civil issue and said I should contact a lawyer also. I told them what you guys said, that he was basically using me as a slave, but they said unless he was physically detaining me against my will that it's nothing they can help with. Thank you all so much for all the help.